nature fans, and welcome to the very first episode of the Little Nature Show. It's the first week of February 2010 and it's snowing like crazy. This is a huge snowstorm that we're having here in the mid-Atlantic states. So what better time to launch our new show than now when it's really comfortable? My name's Judy Feith, and up there with the camera is Michael Mail, and we make nature films together. The Little Nature Show is called Little Nature Show because it's going to be about the nature that happens all around us all the time, in our yards, in our parks and gardens and schoolyards, at the beach. Well, maybe not the beach, not today anyway. The little nature that's easiest to see right now in our yard is the flock of blackbirds. We call them blackbirds, but they're actually a group of several different species. There's grackles, starlings, cowbirds, red-winged blackbirds, all hanging around together in the winter in big flocks and feeding in agricultural fields. Today the fields are covered, so they're all here desperate for the birdseed that we've thrown out. There's so many of them because most years they're able to feed on leftovers in fields, especially grain fields, and there's a lot of grain fields around here. We're going to do a time machine thing here. I've always wanted to do one of these in a movie. We're going back to the fall to look at a huge flock of blackbirds in a field of milo. So with so many of our farm fields providing lots of food for these guys, blackbirds are a little bit out of balance and there are way too many of them. So I think I'm going to scare them away from these seeds. Sorry guys. In order to give some of the other birds here in the yard a chance. This is a white-throated sparrow, one of my favorite birds that spends the winter here in our yard. And there's a northern cardinal, familiar to just about everybody. It's one of our prettiest birds. He's moved into a bush called an American beautyberry. It's a native plant that gets really pretty purple berries, and they seem to be ripe right now when the birds really need them. And there's a female northern cardinal, not quite as brightly colored as her mate, but still very good looking, and with the same feathery crest on her head. There's my white-throated sparrow again. Easy to remember this bird because there's the white throat. This guy seems to have a piece of ice stuck to his foot. He's trying to get it off and keep his feet warm. And a song sparrow, another of my favorite winter birds because it sings such a great song in the springtime. So what's with this cold weather? Where's global warming? It's kind of complicated, but we need to remember that weather is not the same thing as climate. And climate is what's bringing the warmer temperatures gradually to the whole Earth. This doesn't mean that every place on the planet is going to be getting warmer in a nice, steady manner, as evidenced by this day. What's happening this winter in North America is something called the Arctic Oscillation. I'm going to put a link at the bottom of this movie that you can go to and read about what this is. But basically it means the pressure is messed up. And cold air is being sucked down from the Arctic to places where it usually isn't found in such quantities as this. And now we're going to do another time travel. Back to when the snow was just starting, so that we can end this all on a happy note. This is an American woodcock. It's actually a relative of shorebirds. It is a shorebird, but it lives in the woods, and it eats mostly earthworms. So what I really want to ask when I watch these guys feed is, what's with that rocking back and forth, guys? And a quick search of the research on woodcocks hasn't revealed much information about this. But often, most all the time when they're feeding in the woods, they do this rocking back and forth from one foot to the other. In the springtime, I had my hula hoop outside on the grass, and I was hula hooping to a blues song that had kind of that beat. And while I was hooping, a bunch of worms came out of the ground under my feet and crawled across my toes. It was very bizarre. it's my own personal theory that the rocking back and forth is bringing the worms to the surface, where he can feel them with that incredible beak. Alright, look at this beak. That is just too cool. It's got special little grabber units all along the side of it, like beak teeth. Keep the worm from sliding back down. And this guy is no slouch when it comes to finding worms. It's freezing cold, but he's having immense success. Woodcocks can eat a lot of worms. There have been reports of them eating up to twice their own weight in worms in one day. It has a really fat, wide head with these eyes that stick out on both sides. Those eyes give it rear view binocular vision. Probably so it can keep an eye on the sky in case a hawk is coming, because a woodcock is, after all, a tasty treat. They're such great little birds and so popular with bird watchers and hunters that they've been given a lot of very strange names. They've been called timberdoodles, Labrador twisters, night partridges, and my favorite, the bogsucker.